Henry had broken two of Benjamin's teeth, I'm afraid Alan and I would have been a lot more thin-skinned about it. I'm not certain we'd been so broad-minded.
Of course you would have.
Oh, she's right. Not at all certain.
Oh yes, because we all know it could have easily been the other way around.
So what does Benjamin have to say about it? How does he view this situation?
Well, he's not saying much. I think he's still slightly in shock.
He understands that he's disfigured his playmate.
No. No, he does not understand that he's disfigured his playmate.
Why are you saying that? Benjamin understands very well.
He understands he's behaved like a thug, but he does not understand that he's disfigured his playmate.
You don't care for the word, but the word is unfortunately accurate.
My son has not disfigured your son.
Your son has disfigured my son. Come back at 5 and have a look at his face and teeth.
Temporarily disfigured.
The swelling on his lip will go down, and as for his teeth, take him to the best dentist. I'm prepared to chip in.
That's what insurance is for. What we'd like is for the boys to make up, so this sort of thing never happens again.
Let's arrange a meeting.
Yes, that's the answer.
Should we be there?
I don't need to be coached. Just let them do it man to man.
Man to man, Alan. Don't be ridiculous. Having said that, we don't necessarily have to be there. Probably would be better if we weren't, wouldn't it?
Well, the question isn't whether we should be there or not. The question is, do they want to talk to one another? Do they want to have a discussion?
Henry wants to.
What about Benjamin?
It's no use asking his opinion.
But it has to come from him.
Benjamin behaved like a hooligan. We are not interested in what mood he's in.
Well, if Benjamin is forced to meet Henry in a punitive context, I can't see the results would be very positive.
Madam, our son is a savage. To hope for any kind of spontaneous repentance would be fanciful. Right. I'm sorry. I have to get back to the office. You stay in there. You'll tell me whatever you decide. I'm no use whichever way you cut it. Women always think you need a man. You need a father. As if they'd be any use at all. Men are dead weight. They're clumsy and maladjusted. Oh, you can see the F train from here. That's great.
I'm so embarrassed. I can't stay either. My husband has never exactly been a stroller dad.
Oh, what a pity. It's lovely taking the baby for a walk, and it lasts such a short time. You always enjoyed taking care of the children, didn't you, Michael?
Yes.
You loved pushing the stroller.
Yes, I did.
So what have we decided?
Could you come by the house with Henry about 7:30?
7:30. What do you think, Michael?
Well, honestly,
Go on.
I think Benjamin ought to come over here.
Yes, I agree.
I don't think it's right for the victim to have to go traipsing around.
That's right.
well, personally, I can't be anywhere at 7:30.
Since you're no use, we won't be needing you.
Well, all the same, it would be better if his father was here.
All right, then it can't be this evening. Yeah? There's no mention of this in the executive report. No risk has been formally established. There's no evidence.
Tomorrow?
I'm flying to The Hague tomorrow.
You're working in The Hague?
I have a case in the International Criminal Court.
The main thing is that the children speak to one another. I'll bring Benjamin here at 7:30 and we can leave them to their discussion. No? Oh, you don't seem convinced.
Well, if Benjamin is not made aware of his responsibilities, they'll just look at each other like a pair of China dogs. It'll be a catastrophe.
What do you mean? What do you mean made aware of his responsibilities?
I'm sure your son is not a savage.
Of course, Benjamin isn't a savage.
Yes, he is.
Alan, this is absurd. Why say something like that?
He's a savage.
How does he explain his behavior?
He doesn't want to discuss it.
But he ought to discuss it.
He ought to do any number of things. He ought to come here. He ought to discuss it. He ought to be sorry for it. Clearly you have parenting skills that put ours to shame. We hope to improve, but in the meantime, please bear with us.
All right. This is idiotic. Let's not end up like
I'm
this.
only thinking of him. I'm only thinking of Benjamin.
Yeah, I got the message.
Let's just sit down for another couple of minutes.
A little more coffee?
A coffee. Okay.
Then I'll have one too, thanks.
That's all right, Ronnie. I'll do it.
I see you're a great lover of art.
Art, photographs. To some extent, it's my job.
I adore bacon.
Yes, bacon,
Cruelty, majesty.
chaos, balance.
That's right.
Mhm. Is Benjamin interested in art?
Oh, not as much as he should be. What about your children?
We try. We try to fill the gaps in the education system.
Yes.
We try to take them to concerts, to exhibits. We're eccentric enough to believe in the soothing powers of culture.
You're right.
So, Clafouti, is it a cake or is it a tart? Serious question. Listen tart, for example. Is it a tart? Oh, come on, you can't just leave this one little piece.
Clafouti is a cake. The pastry's not rolled out, it's mixed in with the fruit.
You really are a cook.
I love it. The thing about cooking is you have to love it. Now, in my opinion, only the classic tart, that's to say on a pastry base, that deserves to be called a tart.
What about you? You guys have any other children?
A son from my first marriage.
I was wondering, not that it's at all important, what started the fight? Henry won't say one single word about it.
Oh, Henry refused to let Benjamin join his gang.
Henry has a gang?
He also called Benjamin a snitch.
Did you know Henry had a gang?
No. That's terrific.
Why is that terrific?
Because I had my own gang.
Me too.
And what does that entail?
It's like 5 or 6 kids that follow you around, willing to sacrifice yourself, like in Spartacus.
Absolutely like in Spartacus.
Who knows about Spartacus these days?
We use a different model, Spider-Man.
Anyway, clearly you know more than we do. Benjamin hasn't been as silent as you implied. And do we know why Henry called him a snitch? No, sorry, stupid. That's a stupid question. First of all, I couldn't care less. Also, it's beside the point.
We can't get involved in children's quarrels.
And it's none of our business.
No.
On the other hand, what is our business is what unfortunately happened. The violence. That's our business.
To become head of my gang, when I was 12, I had to fight Bobby Kopecki, who was bigger than me. One-on-one, single combat.
What are you talking about, Michael? What's that got to do with it?
No, you're right. It's nothing to do with it.
We're not discussing single combat. The children weren't fighting.
I know. I just suddenly had a flashback.
It's not that big a difference.
Oh, yes, there is. Excuse me, there's a very big difference.
There's a very big difference.
What?
With Bobby Kopecki, we agreed to have a fight.
What, did you beat the shit out of him?
Up to a point.
All right, can we forget Bobby Kopecki? Would you allow me to speak to Benjamin?
By all means,
I wouldn't want to do it without your permission.
speak to him. What could be more natural?
Good luck.
Stop it, Alan. I don't understand you.
Mrs. Elbeck.
Veronica, we don't have to be so formal.
Veronica, you're motivated by an educational impulse, which is very sympathetic.
If you don't want me to speak to him, I won't speak to him.
No, speak to him. Read him the riot act. Do what you like.
I don't understand why you don't seem to care about this.
Ma'am,
Veronica.
Veronica. Of course I care, Veronica, enormously. My son has injured another child.
On purpose.
See, that's the kind of remark that gets my back up. Obviously on purpose.
But that makes all the difference.
The difference between what and what? That's what we're talking about. Our son picked up a stick and hit your son. That's why we're here, isn't it?
This is pointless.
She's right. This kind of argument is pointless.
Why do you feel the need to slide in on purpose? What kind of message is that supposed to be sending?
Listen, we're on a slippery slope. My husband is desperate about all kinds of other things. I'll come back this evening with Benjamin and we'll let things sort themselves out naturally.
I am not in the least bit desperate.
Well, I am.
Well, there's nothing to be desperate about.
Yes, there is.